Hey everyone. Hi. Hi. Tara Malarkey, founder of this community seven figure fam and high ticket empress and author of the book Seven Figure Coach: How to Create $1 Million Coaching Business with Just One High Ticket Program. And I am on a little drive right now. Thought I'd pop on here. So if you're hearing me, if you're watching the replay, would you mind letting me know? Put replay in the comments if you're watching the replay. If you're here live, just let me know that you're in Seven Figure Femme, because once this opens up, then I go like, oh, I don't know, am I live in my Facebook group or where am I live? So hopefully if you pop a comment, I can see. I can see you. I see some people are listening. Hopefully you can hear me okay too. That's the thing about the driving is it connected to the Bluetooth. So I'm going to keep rambling on and assume that you can hear me unless someone tells me that you can't. But if you are listening to the replay, pop in and put replay in the comments. So what I want to talk to you about for the next few minutes is just what your mind is programmed to do. And I've been really analyzing this and studying this actually over the past few days, because this is like an ongoing journey for everyone, even me, right? Like even at the level where the business does multiple millions a year, I still have to bump into some of my own programming that limits me. When you think about the fact that there really is no limit to the amount of money you can make or the kind of lifestyle you live or what's available to you, then if you're living with any kind of limitation on that, then it's because of your mind, right? And so I love to kind of really analyze and think and study this. I keep studying it. And also, it's so huge for the work that I do with all of our clients because everyone is facing this. Um, so I want to remind you right now of a few things. But number one is that your mind is actually programmed to watch out for danger. Like we are, my screen just went really dark. We are primal beings, and uh, when our body was created by God thousands of years ago, life looked very different, right? Life looked like we needed to be scared of the lion outside of the cave. And that is like real. It's hard, like we don't really think about that and remember that now because we live in modern times where that's not a fear. We can walk outside of our house just like I just did and get in my car and go and run an errand and do the things I have to do. And I don't really worry about imminent danger. But that is not how our brains were designed, right? Like, so we're very primal, and our brain is always going to be thinking about the things that make us in danger. Okay, so as soon as you set a goal, as soon as you say, I'm going to make $20,000 or I'm going to make $50,000 this month, your brain's job is to think of all the reasons why that is the worst idea ever. And it will legitimately and literally give you constant thoughts that tell you that that is a very dangerous thing to want to do. And it's real in your brain. Like your brain really wants to keep you safe and really legitimately thinks that it's a danger to you to put yourself out there, to make offers, to be rejected by people. Like your brain digests that as I'm going to die. And your brain's job, your mind's job is to keep you safe and to keep you alive, right? That's like at the core of it, the primal thing. So every goal that you have, it's going to come in and really try to tell you that it's the worst thing ever. So what do you do, right? Well, one is like, what I want you to know is just to be aware of that again. Like I actually have to be reminded of that again because okay, I don't really live in fear and I don't really think about those things when I set a goal. But if I expand my goal and I go like, yeah, I'm running a $10 million business, then I didn't actually realize that there was still like there was new fears that come up. And it's really not new. It's all the same primal stuff that's going to come up. I'm going to die, right? Like I'm going to die if I do that. And it's very complicated in my mind, right? It's not as simple as that. It's a very complicated. But the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because I want you to just be aware that your brain is actually designed and will never stop looking for the reasons why your goals and your dreams and your vision and the life that you're wanting to live into is bad. Okay, so don't expect that to go away, and don't think that it's going to go away, because it's not going to go away. Um, and it also doesn't mean anything's wrong. Sometimes those thoughts start coming in, and then we think, well, then I must be going against God's plan for me. Or that must be a bad sign if it causes anxiety, or I'm worried, or I'm anxious about it, right? And of course, there could be some truth to that you might want to take to the Lord, but actually, it's normal. Like your brain is always going to bring up the dangerous, like the danger of it, and that it can create a lot of anxiety and worry, but it doesn't mean that it's not for you and it's not your destiny and it's not what God has for you, right? Interestingly enough. So just the fact that you can know that means that when those thoughts come in, you're like, huh, I see you. I see you, brain. I see what you're doing. Um, and here's the thought that I choose. Okay? Here's the thought that I choose. And this is where we like can reprogram, right, our brain. But even in the reprogramming, even in the operating system that we have, that primal urge for our brain to keep us safe is really never going to go away. We just have to get really good at being able to be aware of it and not react to it, and not continue to react, and our nervous system react to the fear that our brain is trying to keep us, the thoughts that are trying to keep us safe, and instead choose another thought. So I want to walk through a couple things with you. When you, I'm gonna actually do a training on this soon, especially for our private students, but there's a model that I recently heard about, which kind of just is a 5-step process that you can get really clear on where it is that you're getting stuck as it relates to a goal that you have. So if you can get clear on the circumstance that you're in right now, which is just your reality, there's a thought that is most prominent around that reality. So let's say that your reality is that you make $10,000 a month and you want to make $20,000 a month. So there's a thought that is creating that $10,000 a month, which is usually like that. And there's a thought that creates it and that prevents the $20,000 from happening, right? Like say you're at this point where you're like, why isn't the next level happening? So what's the thought? You want to get clear on what's the thought, right? And maybe the thought is, um, it's too hard, or I can't seem to get in front of more clients who want to pay me. Okay. So then you have a feeling associated with that thought. And so you want to get clear on what's the feeling. So I feel discouraged. I feel fear. I feel anxious that it's never going to work out. And then number 4 is, what's the action? So what's the action that you take when you feel that way? And usually, right, you're going to become clear that the action that you're taking is not the action that you should or want to be taking that's going to get you to the desired result, right? Because you have that feeling, you're probably taking less action, or you're hiding, or you're procrastinating. So that's the action you're taking from that feeling. And then what's the result? Well, you're not getting the results that you want. You're not getting the kinds of results that you want. And that's all coming from this, the circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. So that's the current circumstance. And then you can actually go through that from bottom to top with your desired result. Okay, so I won't go through that right now on this training while I'm driving, but it's so worth doing. So really quickly, if you have a desired result of $20,000 months, then you would go, what is the action I'm taking to get to $20,000 months? Like, you likely know what you have to be doing, right? Like how many posts you need to be doing, and how much reach out you need to be doing, and how many sales calls you need to be doing. So you likely know what that is. And then if you were making $20,000 months, how would you feel? So what's the feeling? And then what's the thought that you would have if you were making $20,000 months? And then you lead into, that's your circumstance. Okay. And so this is really empowering because well, actually all of our constraints are in our mind. And I just recently have been examining this for myself and my business, because we're at this few $100,000 a month place, and I want to be scaling higher and faster and quicker. And then we bump into some constraints. Some of it is like, I need to hire more people and having a hard time finding the right people, et cetera, et cetera. There's numbers of things that are all true, but actually when I did the real work, which I actually know it's inside, which is my mind keeps repeating thoughts like it's hard to find the right people, and I think there's underlying fear of more issues that will arise if the business gets bigger and things like that. And I had to just go in and honestly unpack all of that in my mind to get clear that that's really what's holding me back. It's actually not the strategy or the people. Those are consequences or things that will happen when my mind changes. So overall, I just want you to know that today, okay, it requires you to be in the game to get where you want to be, and it will require you to fail and fail and fail and fail over again. So using the example I just gave you, in the action part of that, if you have empowering thoughts and feelings, the actions you're taking are empowering, meaning they're in alignment with the result that you're wanting to create. And what is absolutely required to get the result that you want is to be in action. Most of the time, if we are in fear or anxiety or worried because we're not getting the result we want, and we're staying in that loop of I'm scared and I feel discouraged, then we start delaying and procrastinating, and we're not in action. And that is the antithesis from a strategic perspective of being a 7 and 8 figure entrepreneur. Is I know that you have to continue to be in action, meaning you act, and you might fail until you win. You don't keep analyzing inside, don't take action, and then expect to win. You keep showing up, you keep doing the thing, and then you win. But you will fail and fail and fail over again until you win, until you succeed. That's just how this works for everyone. Okay? That's the only way that you can course correct, is if you're in the game, is if you're taking action. You can only build a funnel, and then, a lot of our students, they get worried, they're building the funnel, and then they're like, oh, it's hard, and it's not working right away. And and actually, you got to think of it like, oh my gosh, I'm in the game, and now I get to figure out which part of the puzzle isn't working, so I get to fix that. This is all part of it. This is all part of it, right? And so fail, 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 win. That's how this goes. And remember that your brain is designed to keep you safe. And most of that is primal and primitive, and it's not real anymore. And so the more that you can be aware of the fears that you have are about you kind of dying, which interestingly enough, when you look at putting yourself out there on social media can be equated to dying, but like that's really what's happening in your body. So it is really real, but you got to work with that. You can't ignore that. You really have to work with it, and that's how you're going to overcome it. Um, so when you become aware that the fear there is that, um, is this primal primitive thing that you might die, your brain is there and it will always be there. So every time you stretch your goal, expect this to come up again, right? As I look at a $10 million business, then all this fear comes up again. Like, my family's going to abandon me. It's going to make me further separated from everyone. Like, I'm never going to get married because, I make this money. And then, like, I don't know, there's like all these things that just like come up, and our brain is designed, right, to keep us safe. And if I'm safe right here at the level that I'm at, then the brain will try to keep me like here, right? And so it's a game. Like, it's actually not then the interesting thing for me is like it's not even about the money, it's about the growth. It's about who I need to become to be like a $10 million a year entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, it's who I need to become to overcome all the fear. That's what excites me. It's not necessarily the money. So, mwah. I love you. I hope this serves you. If you're listening to the replay, drop it in. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Ashley. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.